Okay, good morning, everybody. So, we got a big lineup today. Last night, my team won the national title. Go Blue, Michigan Blue. Finally got their championship. Long time. So last night I caught Liberty last night, and he was saying the same thing about there's two more markers is like I was saying before, but before he said that, I said the same thing a long time ago. That so everybody's saying the same stuff. That you know, the 250th anniversary on 4th of July and midterms. Anything past that, I don't know. Something's got to give. Something. And even the big broadcasters are saying something's got to happen. Oh wow, the market I just looked at minus 300 today. So I wrote on my headline today for today's news channel for today. We got Mel. I was trying to get on and talk to her, but she couldn't see my name or something. But she had a 2-hour show last night, so we're going to do an hour on this show, and then we'll do an hour later. Pause if you're listening. Oh boy, Chico's starting already. Hey, you want your necklace on, Chico? All right. I'll put this on you. You don't need to bark. Okay? Come here. Come here. I got the short clips I'm showing first is Melania's Easter speech. We missed that on Sunday. That's 5 minutes. And then got a couple of clips from they got the clip a live video Trump talking to the astronauts. Everything. Who do we got? Can't see the name very well. Okay, we got the first one in is what it seems. Hey, how's it going? I haven't seen you in a while. Hope everything good. Yeah, so I just come on when I can and try to get a scheduled time, but when you have the intel, you have to get it out. Like what Liberty was saying last night, there's so much news out, can't keep up. I'm trying to get it out as much as I can. So, and tonight will be the deadline for Iran. What? You're fine. Okay, nothing's going on. Tomorrow's shopping day. Chico whining already. What? It's cold, buddy. You don't need it open right now. Hang on, I gotta get him on the window. Get up there. Come on. Come on. Chico. Go. All you gonna get. So, now I was seeing what's your opinion? Do you think this movie's gonna end this year? They're saying everything's all finished. Well, then get it out. What's going on? What are they waiting for? Christmas? Well, Cash just came out with another one. I'm at home. We got 6 minutes on that one guy in TikTok, and we got an 8 minute one. Patriot Princess on TikTok. She had a 9 minute one. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and get started. I know everybody's at work, so hopefully we'll get some people in chat. So we'll go ahead and get started.
My favorite books here, The Runaway Bunny. It's a classic. I hope some of you know it. And I will read it for you. Once there was a little bunny who wanted to run away. So he said to his mother, "I'm running away." "If you run away," said his mother, "I will run after you. For you are my little bunny." "If you run after me," said the little bunny, "I will become a fish in a trout stream and I will swim away from you."
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
"If you become a fish in a trout stream," said his mother, "I will become a fisherman and I will fish for you." So here he's running away, swimming away, actually. He's so far. And here is this a little carrot. She's trying to catch him. "If you become a fisherman," said the little bunny, "I will become a rock on the mountain high above you." "If you become a rock on the mountain high above me," said his mother, "I will be a mountain climber and I will climb to where you are." So he's climbing here. Look how far he came. "If If you become a mountain climber, said the little bunny, I will be a crocus in a hidden garden. If you become a crocus in a hidden garden, said his mother, I will be a gardener and I'll find you. Can you see him? He's right here, hiding in the garden. If you're a gardener and find me, said the little bunny, I will be a bird and fly away from you. If you become a bird and fly away from me, said his mother, I will be a tree that you come home to. So here is a mother, and here is flying, a little bunny. If you become a tree, said the little bunny, I will become a little sailboat, and I will sail away from you. If you become a sailboat and sail away from me, said his mother, I will become the wind and blow you where I want you to go. So look at this, look at his ears. Isn't he cute, isn't he? If you become the wind and blow me, said the little bunny, I will join a circus and fly away on a flying trapeze. If you go flying on the flying trapeze, said his mother, I will be a tightrope walker and I will walk across the air to you. Look him here. He's like an acrobat. Yes, they're great, aren't they? If you become a tightrope walker and walk across the air, said the bunny, I will become a little boy and run into a house. If you become a little boy and run into a house, said the mother, I will become your mother and catch you in my arms and hug you. And here they are at home, hugging. Oh, shucks, said the bunny. I might just as well stay where I am and be your little bunny. And so he did. Have a carrot, said the mother. And here they're enjoying the food and the carrot. The end. It's a beautiful story, and the mother showed the love of his baby bunny. So, and I'm sure all you could relate, especially the mothers and the babies, how mother loves you. Yes? Nice to see you. Happy Easter Monday. Enjoy the White House. It's a special place. Have a good time. I'll see you next year. Bye.
That was another good speech from our First Lady from yesterday or the Easter reading to the kids there. I missed that video. Just found it. Hey, Lori, I wrote on my page for today. We got big lineup, and I was telling everybody last night I stopped in to say hi to Liberty and Jeff B. And he's saying the same thing about the two markers left, and I just can't believe what's going on. We're going to be in this for a long time, I think. I don't know what's I just can't believe it's taking this long. They say they got everything done. I don't know what the heck they're waiting for. It doesn't make sense. But we can't give up. Our day hopefully will be here before it's too late. We lost a lot of people already passing that couldn't make it this far. Anyway, so we got a 2-hour mail video last night. We'll do an hour now and an hour later. Yep, Lori. Yep. So the next 5. Oh wait, I'm gonna do the. This is totally. Oh wait, I'm gonna do something. The one short clip I want to get in. Kind of interesting.
I bet you didn't. Which flag is real and which one's AI? That
You know what I'm
one's
saying?
real. That one's AI. These flowers are real, but this bench is AI, and this lamppost is real. Which
Unreal.
lollipop is
Unbelievable.
real? This one is obviously a potato on a stick. Am I really on a staircase right now? Yeah. What about this bicycle? It's real. Which purse is real? Which is AI? This one's a potato. This one's coach. This wishing well is real. So cute. Look, I can control the lights in this garden. On, off, on, off, on, off. Pretty cool. Are all these palm trees real? Yeah. Which of these lampposts is real? This one is obviously a potato on a stick. That is a wrap on this potato today. It has been used and abused.
What do you guys think of that one? That was an. Okay, let's play. Where's this next one? Okay, here we go.
Special guest who wanted to be the first person to greet you after your return from the far side of the
crazy.
moon. Reed, Victor, Christina, and Jeremy, it's my honor to introduce the President of the United States of America, President Donald J. Trump. Over to you, sir.
13 minutes.
Well, thank you very much, Jared, and you are doing a fantastic job. And hello, very special hello to Artemis II. Today you've made history and made all America really proud, incredibly proud. We have a lot of things to be proud of lately, but this is there's nothing like what you're doing, circling around the moon for the first time in more than a half a century and breaking the all-time record for the farthest distance from planet Earth. Humans have really never seen anything quite like what you're doing in a manned spacecraft. It's really special. I want to personally salute and congratulate Commander Reed Weissman, Pilot Victor Glover, Mission Specialist Christina Koch, and Jeremy Hansen. And I also want to thank the entire amazing team at NASA, headed by Jared, who's a very special guy, by the way. And you all made this day possible, and you've really inspired the entire world. Really, everybody's watching. They find it incredible. I just watched you go to the back of the moon, and people haven't been there in a long time, we can say, but it's going to be more and more prevalent because we're going to be doing a lot of traveling, and then you're going to ultimately do the whole big trip to Mars, and that's going to be very exciting. So you look at, we had no astronaut has been to the moon since the days of Apollo program. The Apollo program was also very special, but that was 50 years ago, and at long last, America is back, and America is back in many ways stronger than ever before. We're the hottest country anywhere in the world. The Artemis crew flew in the most powerful rocket NASA has ever made, ever launched, traveled over 250,000 miles, broke the distance record set by the legendary Apollo 13. And America is a frontier nation, and the 4 brave astronauts of Artemis II are a modern day, you really are modern day pioneers, all of you, and
What
one
do
of
you
them
guys think
happens
of
to
this
be
clip?
a neighbor. You know who that is, right? You have a special person
That's
over
not
there,
real, is it?
a neighbor, and we like our neighbor. Your mission paves the way for America's return to the lunar surface very soon. We're going all out. We're doing everything we can, and it's headed up by Jared. We'll plant our flag once again, and this time we won't just leave footprints. We'll establish a permanent presence on the moon, and we'll push on to Mars. That'll be very exciting. I'm waiting for that so much. I'd love to be here, but maybe we won't quite make it in terms of timing, but we will be up in the moon, and that's going to happen soon. So America will be second to none in space and everything else that we're doing, and we will continue to lead the whole thing into the stars, this incredible journey into the stars. So I just wanted an honor to speak to you, and I wanted to congratulate each and every one of you. And tell me, what is the most unforgettable part of this really historic day? The whole world is watching and listening. Please tell me.
President, this call is certainly special to all of us, and we really have a lot of faith in our administrator, Jared Isaacman, who is with you. We appreciate his leadership in NASA and in the international community. We are doing great things, and we are proud to be a part of. I have to tell you, as we came around the near side of the moon, seeing all the sights that we've seen from Earth for all of our lives, but we're seeing them from a different perspective, and then we started to get a glimpse of the and we saw sights, Oriental sights that no human has ever seen before, not even in Apollo, and that was amazing for us. And then the surprise of the day, we just came out of an eclipse where the sun, moon, and the entire dark moon about that big right out the window that we were watching. We could see the corona of the sun, and then we could see the planet train line up, and at Mars, and all of us commented how excited we are to watch this nation and this planet become a two-planet species.
That is fantastic. You know, I had a decision to make in my first term, and the decision is, what are we going to do at NASA? Are we going to have it be revived, or are we going to close it down? And I had very little hesitation, and it's really great to have somebody like Jared involved, because he really makes it much easier for me. But it was not even a question in my own mind. We've spent what we had to do, and then of course we have Space Force, and Space Force is very much related to what you're doing, and that was my baby. That was a very important one, and it'll turn out to be truly one of the most important, I believe, decisions I've ever made. So we're very proud of Space Force, and we're very proud of all of you. Does anybody else have anything to say? A lot of people listening.
Mr. President, to be here with you speaking about our incredible day today. I think one of the biggest highlights was coming back from the far side of the moon and having the first glimpses of planet Earth again after being out of communication for about 45 minutes. It really just reminds you what a special place we have and how important it is for our nation to lead and not follow in exploring deep space.
I'd like to ask, what was your feeling when you had no communication, zero communication? All of a sudden it was cut off by, obviously, your very special location. What was your feeling when you had no communication? A little bit different, perhaps.
Yes, Mr. President, it was I said a little prayer, but then I had to keep rolling. I was actually recording scientific observations of the far side of the moon. You know, that is actually the time when we were the farthest and the closest to the moon. And so we were really able to make some of our most detailed observations of the far side of the moon up close. And so we were busy up here working really hard. And I must say, it was actually quite nice.
Did you see a difference, a big difference between the far side of the moon and the near side of the moon? Was there a difference in feel or difference in look? What did you see?
Well, Mr. President, we certainly did, and our science team really set us up well to understand what they thought we might see. And the gravitational pull of the Earth has had a profound effect on the near side of the moon, changing all those dark mares, those dark patches of the moon you see from Earth. It's very different on the far side. While you see some small patches of those mare in deep craters, it's very much absent on that side. So that's really neat. And while I have the microphone, sir, I just want to thank you on behalf of Canada. The space leadership you spoke of from America truly is extraordinary. I've said this many times before. A nation that leads like that and creates and sets big goals for humanity that brings other countries along with it is truly incredible. And I know that's a very intentional, not a necessary decision, intentional decision to lead by example and to allow other countries like Canada to share our gifts and help you achieve these mutually beneficial goals, like establishing a presence on the moon and eventually going to Mars. And Canadians are so proud to be a part of this program.
Well, I have to say I spoke to a very special person, Wayne Gretzky, who I think you know, the great one. And I spoke to your prime minister and many other friends I have in Canada. They are so proud of you. And you have a lot of courage. I'm not sure if they'd want to do that. I'm not even sure if the great one would want to do that, to be honest with you. But you have a lot of courage doing what you're doing, a lot of bravery and a lot of genius. But they're very, very proud of you.
Few more minutes. I guess they can't speak no more.
Administrator Isaacman, just get a quick comm check, make sure you guys are still on the line and we didn't have a handover.
I am. Yes, I am.
And integrity, and back over to you, Mr. President.
Yeah, I think we might have gotten cut off. It is a long distance. It's a long ways. The reception's been great. There's a little bit of about a 9-second delay, but no, I just had a statement for, I don't know what you heard, but I was just saying they're very proud of your brilliant person from Canada on the ship. And Wayne Gretzky is a great friend of mine, and he's very proud of him. And the prime minister I spoke to, they're very, very honored that you have a courageous person from Canada. You have a lot of courageous people from Canada. So it was very nice. I'm not sure if you heard me say that, but it was very nice.
Yes, Mr. President, we heard that, and we do love our Jeremy Hansen. We love all our Canadian astronauts, Jenny Gibbons, Josh Kutrick. They're just great people, and they're such a welcome addition to our Corps.
Great. Well, I really look forward to, when we can, I look forward to seeing you in the Oval Office. I'll ask Jared to bring you over, and I'll ask for your autograph, because I don't really ask for autographs much, but you deserve that. You really are something. Everybody's talking about this. And I look forward to having you in the Oval Office at the White House, and we will celebrate your incredible achievements and triumphs. This is big. This is really big stuff. The whole world is talking about it. And if you have the time, I will certainly find the time. I've been pretty busy also, as you know, but I will absolutely find the time, and we'll get together, and I'm going to be giving you a big salute on behalf of the American people and beyond that.
Thank you for that, Mr. President. And when you want us, we will be there. And thank you for your leadership. Thank you to Jared for his leadership. Really, thank you for taking the time out today to visit NASA. It's really special for us, but it's really special for the team on the ground. A whole team of people all around the world pulled this off. And we just want to say thank you to all of you for this It is the thrill and honor of a lifetime to have been on this journey. Today was amazing, but this 3-year journey has been amazing, and it was made possible by the American people and the Canadian people. And we're so grateful to you all. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much. And Jared, congratulations. We'll see you soon. And I know that you have Mars very much in your mind, so we'll start thinking about that pretty soon, I think. And thank you. Congratulations to everybody. I'll see you at the Oval Office.
Thank you for your time, Mr. President. It's been an honor.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Okay. I don't know. See what that was about. Back on to our TikTok lady. She had a late one last night, 2 minutes, and then 6-minute one with the one guy, and a 9-minute one with Patriot Princess on TikTok.
Two relatives of the Iranian general that was taken out by the United States. Soleimani, I believe.
Can't play that one. Got music. Six minutes.
It is April 6th, the year of our Lord, 2026. It's a little bit after 9 p.m. here in California, and this is developing news. Iran has basically hours to survive. They've played and played and bullshitted. The time is out. Pretty much this time tomorrow, Iran could be basically a pile of dirt and sand. I'm going to go off on another direction. We're watching a balance of power shift take place right now. The CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, has been waging an unrestricted warfare, not just on the United States, but on this planet, to become the dominant force on this planet, a communist nation. They just got checkmated. Donald Trump has basically taken Iran, and he's going to force them into a position of total and complete surrender. By this time tomorrow, if they do not completely and totally surrender all of it, they will end up, and the nation of Iran will end up nothing but a pile of dirt and sand. I don't know how I can express this any more than what has happened over the last 47 years. As soon as the IRGC took over Iran in the late 70s, 79, they've continually made threats, death to America. When a nation state makes threats like that, and it is a true threat, that means that is not some kid or some group making an idle threat, death to America. These people had the capability, Iran had the capability of taking basically the region out, and when they got a nuclear weapon, they would use it first, then negotiate after. These Iranian IRGC, I guess what you might say, Islamic leaders do not think like you and I. More importantly, we're going to watch this play out. These Iranians have been literally murdering their own people. When they will murder their own people, and if I may, let me put it to you the best way I can tell you. I, for the longest time, really didn't take Iran seriously. That's where we made a big mistake years ago. when a nation state makes true threats like that, meaning they have the capability of doing unbelievable amount of damage and carnage, we have to take them seriously. Donald Trump knew back in his first term that Iran meant what they said. When they make a true threat like that, let me put it to you this way. They're not bluffing. They will put it out there, but they have the capability. They have the capability. That's when we have to make sure that we hear and we listen and we understand. And I made this mistake. We made this big mistake back in the late 90s. These people, when they make a public threat, it has to be taken seriously. Donald Trump was listening. He could hear them very well, and he understood what they meant. This preemptive, I guess what you might say, move is to shift the balance of power in America's favor for the next century and cement America's power dominance on the planet for the next century. More importantly, I've said in my documentaries, if you go to preservingamericaepac.com, you can watch all 4 of our documentaries for free. It's about Marxist political warfare. And in the last year and a half, I've been talking about the global struggle for the balance of power. The CCP and kind of Russia have been making moves, specifically the CCP has been making moves to dominate the planet with a communist, I guess what you might say. Basically, you have to pay them. You would have to pay them to move your goods, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We're watching the shift take place, and we're watching the CCP get checkmated, and everybody else. The American system, and the United States will be the dominant force on the planet for the next century to come, as this continues and as we win it, and as Donald Trump wins it. Watch what happens in the next 24 hours. By this time tomorrow night, Iran could be a literal, I guess what you might say, pile of dirt and sand.
Okay, the guy from our news on TikTok there, he had a late one yesterday. So we got 9-minute one with our favorite Senator Kennedy.
Basement playing video games, you know that there has been massive welfare fraud in Minnesota. It's staggering, it's stunning, it's astounding. It may rise to the level of $9 billion of taxpayer money meant for the poor. $9 billion. Now, it's an uncomfortable truth that at this juncture, most of that fraud appears to be centered in the community of Minneapolis among people of Somali ancestry. Some have said and suggested that it's racist to say that. Facts are not racist. What I just said is just a fact.
Yep, I agree.
So far, there have been 90 people charged, most of whom are of Somali descent. That's just a fact. There are over 100,000 people of Somali ancestry in Minnesota, most of them in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area. And the vast majority of them vote in a block, as is their right. And a vast majority of them vote in a block for Democratic candidates, as is their right. Some will say Kennedy's being a racist for pointing that out. Let me say it again. Facts are not racist. They're facts. It's already come out at some of the trials. And not all of the folks being charged are of Somali ancestry. I want to make that very clear. But most of them are. Again, just a fact. I apologize for my voice. Now, let me explain what this thievery, this industrial scale fraud was all about. It was centered around Medicaid. And as you know, Mr. President, Medicaid is a federal program administered by the states. We put up most of the money to provide health care, health coverage for poor people, for pregnant women, for children, and for disabled people. Now, President Obama, through Obamacare, extended Medicaid to some folks in the middle class, but still the main purpose of Medicaid is to help poor folks and disabled folks. Because in America, we help our friends. You know, I was looking at a number the other day. In the last 50 years, the American economy has grown 142% in the last 50 years. American economy has grown 142% in the last 50 years. Pretty extraordinary number. Welfare spending in America has grown 765%. So I get a little upset when some people say, well, you know, the American people are selfish. We spend over $1 trillion a year helping our neighbors who are less fortunate than us, mostly the poor. In our country, I've said this before, if you're hungry, we'll feed you. If you're homeless, we'll house you. If you're too poor to be sick, we'll pay for your doctor. Other countries let their fellow citizens die in a ditch. We don't do that in America. The American people have stepped up to the plate. So when people steal this money, this $1 trillion plus a year that we spend helping our neighbors, when people steal that money, it offends me. When they steal from the poor and they steal from the American taxpayer, it offends me equally. And the folks in Minnesota and elsewhere who stole this money, who took a giant Great Dane whiz down the leg of every taxpayer and poor person in America, every one of them ought to go to jail. And now, unless...
That was a short one there. Wow, well, he's the #1 senator on my book. He does great speeches. He was right on that. Time for arrest. If they got the evidence, time for arrest. So, hey, Tim, my basketball team won the national title last night. That was a cool game last night. So, we got a big lineup. I posted everything on my page today that we got a 2-hour now. We'll be starting here pretty soon here. We'll do an hour now and an hour later. So I'm going to get as much as out I can today. It's tomorrow's shopping day, but I don't know what time we're going. But like what Liberty said last night, a lot of news coming out. All right, we got a 9-minute Patriot Princess from TikTok.
I'm just questioning the
Anybody see
Catholic
this one?
religion. I'm in no way attacking anyone. I think we should question everything, right? I just find it kind of weird that there's different colors of popes, and they somewhat match the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse and the book of Revelation. The 4 horsemen of the apocalypse are associated with the colors white, red, black, and pale. Pale, which is actually green. In the book of Revelation, the first horseman rides a white horse, symbolizing conquest or the spread of something destructive, and it mentions corona, the head, the crown. Think 3 city-state empire, religion, the Vatican, the corona, mind manipulation, controlling the masses, the conquest. Think 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, the rider that rides the white horse, conquering the masses, the corona, influencing everyone. Think 3 city-state empire. One arm is the Vatican, is the religious arm, influencing the masses. The white pope is the tippy top, the reigning sovereign pontiff. In the book of Revelation, the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, the second rider rides a red horse, which represents war and bloodshed. Red, like blood.
How many seen this one?
In the Catholic Church, the red pope, the cardinal prefect, or propaganda fide. It's a very powerful department in the Vatican, controlling all the Catholic missions, like in Africa and Asia, etc. Well, if the Catholic Church is doing all these missions in these countries, like Africa, Asia, third world countries, why are there so many kids going missing there? Why are they not advertising the great work that they do? Why have we not seen this everywhere, all over the TV, news, everything, for all the amazing work that the Catholic Church has done with their missions? And why is there a Vatican bank, the black hole, with tons of money in it that no one accounts for? And what about all the gold under the Vatican? What about all this money that the Vatican has? But yet all these third world countries that they do their missions in still lay destitute, with children and people missing. What about that? And what about the orphanages that the Catholic Church, that Mother Teresa opened with the Clinton Foundation? What about those children? I want to see, what have they done? What amazing work has the Catholic Church and the Clinton Foundation done? Where are these children that they've helped? I would love to see it. Why did Mother Teresa also work with Robert Maxwell, Ghislaine Maxwell's father? And why does her nun outfit, the blue and white, match the Epstein Island temple, blue and white? Back to the book of Revelation, 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. The third horseman rides a black horse, associated with famine and economic hardship. Black horse. Like the Vatican Bank, nicknamed the Black Hole, the Vatican Bank was investigated in 2012 for financial corruption and money laundering, and they're currently under investigation right now for writing fraudulent checks. And it says right here in the Britannica Encyclopedia that the Black Pope is the Superior General to the Society of Jesuits, and it is named the Black Pope because of the black habit of the order.
Morning, Maria.
What?
Can you read my headline?
It sounds to me like, are the Catholics like hiding that they're Jewish? It's a leader within the Catholic Church that is elected for life says here that the Black Pope's responsibilities are to manage the Jesuit order's global network of priests, specifically focused on education and social services.
Did you see this one yet?
The Jesuit order. And why do all the priests and the Pope and the cardinals, why do they all wear yarmulkes? I mean, if they're Jewish, why don't they just say it? Why don't they just be it? Why do they have to hide it with different names? The Catholics say that their yarmulke is called a zucchetto. Historically, the zucchetto was to keep the clergy's head warm. It's also supposed to be a clear visual to be able to tell their rank. Each color means a different rank, again with the colors. And it's also for humility, to be in the presence of God. Same as what the Jewish people wear theirs for. So why don't they just call it a yarmulke? Why do they have to call it a different name? Seems like they're hiding something. Back to the book of Revelation. The fourth and final horseman rides a pale horse, or pallor, which is a greenish color, with death as the rider. Pope Benedict XVI and Pope Francis were known as the Green Pope. They installed solar panels on the Vatican and heavily promoted the climate change agenda, which is also known as part of the New World Order. Climate change was code for controlling the masses into thinking that the Earth was overpopulated and mass depopulation was going to be needed to keep the Earth healthy and safe. So there you go, the fourth and final rider, death on the green horse.
Morning, Kiki.
Again, I'm not attacking anyone. I'm just questioning, what really is the Catholic religion? Are they hiding something?
Chico.
Why does the Black Pope control the Jesuit order?
Oh,
Why do
Chico.
they wear yarmulkes but call them zucchettos?
Come here.
Why do they have all these
Look at
peace
that, you.
missions and charity work, but we don't ever see any people that are saved or children that are saved? Wwhy did Mother Teresa
Remember this
start
one,
an
anybody?
orphanage with the Clinton
I think it's a
Foundation?
new one.
Where are those children? I would love to see some positive results. It would be amazing. What about the Vatican Bank? Why are they being investigated for fraudulent checks and money laundering? I mean, why aren't they putting all that money towards these countries that still lay destitute?
Okay.
Why do the colors of the Pope kind of match the four horsemen of the apocalypse in the book of Revelation? Why is the Vatican part of the three city-state empire? Why is the Vatican in its own district? Why doesn't it abide by the same laws as Italy? Why is it in its own territory, with its own military, its own laws, its own constitution, its own army? Why is that necessary?
So that was the latest one, I believe. I don't think I played that one. So, yeah, Kev, I was telling everybody at the beginning that my team won, national champions. So I got to buy a lot of souvenirs tomorrow. And last night on Liberty, he was saying the same thing about the markers. You know, like we all were saying, 2 markers left. The 4th of July and midterms. And then out of what it seems, he was hearing something too about another year. So just can't give up. We got to keep moving. So I got a lot of good stuff today, and see how things go. I'm going to be on a lot today because there's a lot of good videos I want to get out. Mel's 2 hours, so I'm going to do an hour now, an hour later. Tomorrow's shopping day. Oh, it's not a marker? Student out of tree, welcome again. I think you've been in here a couple times. So, what's your opinion? What do you think, everybody? Okay, see which one I got. Oh, I got that new channel. I think it's a 10-minute one. This is a new one, I think.
To meet your every. Well, hold on there, Tishy Tish, because justice may just start raining down on you like water. That's because the Trump-hating New York State Attorney General is once again being referred for criminal charges to the Department of Justice for alleged funny business involving her two homes, big real estate magnate, in the same state, the state of Virginia. What's up with that? She lives in New York, where she's Attorney General. She's required to live there under state law. Federal Housing Finance Agency Director Bull Pulte, that's right, Bull Pulte, claims that Big Tish may have falsified information on more than one occasion with insurance companies in Florida and in Illinois. That shouldn't be a problem. She's got Democrat Party protection in one of the two letters sent yesterday, this one to the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of Florida. Pulte includes evidence of an application for home insurance submitted by Tishy Tish there with a Fort Lauderdale-based company. That's peculiar. Claiming that her home in Norfolk, Virginia, would be unoccupied for 5 months of the year. But Tish's niece told a grand jury that she was living in that home rent-free for 5 years. For 5 years, not living in New York, like she said. And in another letter, this one to the U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Illinois, spreading all over the place. What a nation we have. Pulte includes a court document that shows that Tish James appears to have claimed that to Allstate Insurance Company that her Virginia home would only be occupied by one individual when neighbors said that she was living there with 3 children. You recall last November, a Bill Clinton appointed judge dismissed mortgage fraud charges against Tish James involving those same Virginia homes, ruling that U.S. Attorney Lindsay Halligan was improperly appointed to the position. Isn't that amazing? So,
oh my, Big Tush, we coming for you again, and this time it's not in New York, it's not in Virginia, it's in Florida. All right, in Illinois, I believe as well.
Now it's Florida, you guys.
Oh, yes. Now, I hope we can get a good judge.
Geez, how many states are they corrupt on with these senators? 3 states now?
On this case, because if it happens again that this case gets thrown out on a stupid technicality, I think people are going to be extremely upset, especially us, especially me. Okay, I've done so many videos on Letitia James. We've exposed her felon nieces. We've exposed her fraud scandals. We've had Sam Antar basically bringing all the evidence out, public records showing she is a serial fraudster. She's been doing fraud since she got a home with her dad that she pretended and faked on the paperwork that she married. Okay, she's a serial fraudster, and she needs to be held accountable. But she is by far one of the most corrupt, most protected Democrats in the entire country. All right. This woman is a pure evil villain. She's a movie villain. Okay. She goes after businesses. She sues the hell out of everybody. She wants to decimate the economy in New York City and steal all their money just to give it to the taxpayers and to enrich the government in New York City. She is out of her mind crazy, okay? And she's heavily protected. The Democrats love her. The black community, they love her for some reason, even though she destroys their businesses. But man, so many skeletons in the closet that we used to talk about on this channel and my other channel. And we could definitely bring some of those things up again if we need to, but I hope this works out.
To the position. Isn't that amazing? So, when you're a Democrat, you just do this stuff, and she's supposed to be a lawyer. She's a chief law enforcement officer in the state of New York, and she apparently doesn't know the law very well, or she just ignores it. Does she not know the law, or she just assume that she'll get away with it?
Well, maybe she just doesn't like the law because, she's in New York. We know rent costs are high. They're making prices high. And if I'm remembering correctly, in the mortgage fraud situation, she was claiming she had another residence was her primary residence to save money, and definitely wasn't saying it was in New York. Was that correct?
Yeah.
Which would be, more expensive.
Yep, it was in Virginia.
That's true. And she is required by New York state law to live in New York if she's going to be the chief law enforcement officer there. And then she goes around telling everybody that she lives all over the place and, for a part of the year and another part of the year, and buying real estate in all kinds of places where she allegedly doesn't live.
She's not the only one that does this. Adam Schiff, pencil neck Adam Schiff, he does it too. He has a big home in Maryland, okay, where his family lives, and that's where he lives. But he's a congressman in California, in California, he's got a little condo that he probably doesn't even go to more than once a year. But he's a representative in California when his whole family and his main huge 2-story house is in Maryland. Come on, seriously? Did the people just not realize or look into him at all? It's so obvious he's committing mortgage fraud, but anyone care? Because he marked both of those residences down as his primary residence. They try to hit him with ethics complaints, and they try to do ethics investigation into him. Well, that got shut down by the Biden administration.
Yeah, this guy's doing pretty good with his Adele.
So no accountability for Democrats. I would hope the Trump administration would try to do something against him, but I guess they're not. I guess they're just not worried about it.
I don't blame her. Norfolk, parts of Norfolk, it's a great fishing spot, are nice to live. Downtown needs a little bit of help. It's struggled a little bit. And Portsmouth and that region, they need more attention. But yeah, she has been engaging in a lot of corruption throughout her tenure. And I think we could all have been suspicious about her because her cause célèbre was running to impeach now second-term President Donald Trump. So when I look at that and think that that's your main reason for running, I don't care what your, partisan label is. If that's what you're truly running for, I'm immediately suspicious. So we could identify it from there. It's usually projection.
Well, Jason, it doesn't look good for her, right? I mean, she's got all kinds of red flags all over the place.
Well, we'll see. I mean, last time people were saying it didn't look good for her. Not only did that judge dismiss the case, 2 grand juries refused to re-indict her. They tried several times. She seems to be winning and owning the Department of Justice right now. So we'll see and it seems like they keep going after her, which really does start to seem like malicious prosecution. So we'll see how this all works out. We'll see if there's actually
yes, it must be so nice to be a Democrat when your team cheats and uses heavy-duty corruption in order to come up on top. It must be so nice, Well, she's kicking the DOJ's ass, and they keep going after her, so it's clearly lawfare. Now, I wish there was some way to hold her accountable for the lawfare she performed on Donald Trump. We all know that was lawfare. We all know they were trying to cheat in the election. We all know all those cases brought up against him were sham cases, but have any of them been held accountable? Fani Willis, the most obvious one. We just got lucky that she was banging her special prosecutor boyfriend, and that happened to get the case thrown out. It's insane, man. Because Fani Willis is going after Trump and a lot of his business associates. She was trying to hit him with the RICO case. Okay, that was a big deal. If she hadn't slept with I forget his name, but her special prosecutor boyfriend, that case may have done some real damage, and we might not be sitting here with Donald Trump as our president. You got to remember that, man. But I hope they go after her. I hope they get her and nail her down. I hope we do see her get some sort of punishment, at the very least, knock her off her throne and disbar her and move her out of the AG position. Because that big woman, she's there to stay. And she's going to terrorize New York until the end of her term. But hey, man, we just got some extremely disturbing and groundbreaking.
Okay, another good one from him. New channel on YouTube. So the next we'll finish off the first show. I'm going to do a 4-minute one. Then KK, we got her coming out with another Walmart issue. That one's 20 minutes. And then we're going to do the X2 report after. So we'll get those 3 in and take a lunch break. Come back at 3.
Politically expedient to sweep this under the rug. It is the wrong thing to do, and we know it. I worked on the Hill. I know many women who still do, and this message that I received yesterday is not unique. I have received others, and there are many women who have reached out to other political commentators and to reporters with their stories. This particular message follows the same pattern as the other allegations currently circulating. You know Eric Swallwell has slept with many of his interns and makes them all sign NDAs so they don't speak up, right? And when I was 19, he tried hitting on me and sliding into my DMs, and I have so many other friends that have similar experiences with him. Like I said, this message that I received is not an anomaly. It's part of a pattern. Other commentators have come forward, like this one, saying that no less than a dozen people have come forward to them alleging that Swallwell has had inappropriate relationships with young staffers for years. I understand that because the Trump administration is currently trying to weaponize similar allegations against Swallwell, having this conversation or publicly acknowledging it may feel like aligning with Trump, but that is not the truth. It is aligning with women. Politically, if this is a weakness that Trump can exploit, then it's something that we do need to acknowledge. And more important, morally, if we as a party are willing to bury these kinds of allegations, we are no better than those we point the finger at. Lastly, I would not be surprised if we soon see many other folks come forward. Conversations that I have had suggest that creators who have heard these stories and women who have experienced it are currently sitting on the sidelines because they're afraid of retaliation, of not being able to work in this space anymore if they speak up. But
Wow, well said. This lady does a good job with her reports. Yep, they got to come out and speak up like how she's doing it.
I think as more people come forward, we will hear other voices coming in and echoing these allegations. So we need to deal with this and address this now. People have questions about why I decided to make public comments about allegations of sexual harassment against Eric Swallwell before a major news outlet published the story. So let me be as clear and transparent about that as I safely can be. I am personally working with a group of women who want to come forward and share their stories. I am also aware of a much larger group that is also in this process that I am not personally working with. We have secured pro bono legal representation for them, and they are in the process of sharing their information with major outlets while ensuring that their legal and physical safety is protected. That process takes time, but the number of credible women who have come forward since I posted my first video is really shocking, and all of them moving forward together has greatly expedited the timeline of this whole process. I got deeply involved because, like I said in my first video, I had heard these rumors for years, going back to the time when I was working on the Hill. But the first person who approached me with their story was a close personal friend of mine. Then, once I started digging into it and I found that there were a number of other women whose stories matched the same pattern of manipulation and abuse of power, I knew that I couldn't stay silent because these women needed to know that if they came forward, there was a group of people that would have their back. I understand that people want as much information as possible about these women, their stories, their identities, and the proof to back this all up. The problem is that many of these women have remained silent for so long because they believed that they were alone and that if they came forward, it would ruin their careers. And as someone who has worked in politics, I can't disagree with that assessment. It appears that others may have stayed silent because of a belief that non-disclosure agreements required them to keep this secret. While it is true that most NDAs would be unenforceable under these circumstances, most people don't know that. And the idea of challenging a powerful sitting congressman in court is not something that most people want to do. I understand and appreciate that people are engaging with discernment and critical thinking when they see things like this online. However, there are very real limits to what I can share here and why. I am still sharing these details here before this story breaks more widely to help ensure that women know they can come forward and to help this story break as soon as possible, because I am not blind to the fact that this will have an impact on the California governor's race. One more key point. I'm an attorney. I'm well aware of the fact that if I were to get on my platform and share lies about a public figure, I could be subject to a lawsuit for defamation. That being said, Swallwell follows me, and I know that his team is aware of my video and the videos that other creators have made on this topic. To the best of my knowledge, none of us have served with legal paperwork or sent a cease and desist. They can't, because the truth is an absolute defense. I also work in politics. I'm aware that having this conversation public could lead people that I work with to view me as a liability, but I do not believe in holding Republicans to a standard that we are not willing to uphold ourselves. No more predators in power from either party, period. So if you or someone you know has a story that you would like to share, or you would like to know what resources that we have available for you, please reach out.
Very important video there. That was good. Okay, we got the Walmart and then the first hour on now.
They're just over there cutting up and laughing while he's counting all of this money that they stole. Let's see if they're still laughing when their asses are planted in the backseat of that police car. All right, everybody. Today we are heading back into the workplace where some Walmart employees thought to themselves, you know what could really spice up our day? Felony charges. Because tell me why these Walmart employees thought that they cracked a system, loading gift cards with money that doesn't even exist, running fake transactions, just casually helping themselves to the register like it's their own personal ATM. And the wild part, this wasn't one bad decision. Oh no, this is like a freaking team building exercise. We've got coworkers teaching each other scams. Everyone is playing dumb. And somehow, really nobody thought that missing money was just going to go unnoticed forever. And just when you think that it can't get any worse, they start upgrading the crime.
As you look back, you can watch completely. There's no gift card. That's usually the gift cards that he'll take and it'll be uploaded into the system. They swipe
if it does it.
and it'll upload it to the gift card. But for this transaction, they put it on the gift card.
When the officer met with loss prevention, he explained how both employees started to load the gift cards without putting money into the register, then eventually upgrading their crime to stealing cash.
Over again.
Okay, so then can we watch another video of Raven?
Of course. See, this is the gift card that she did. Let's see.
World's dumbest criminals. Do they really think that a major multi-billion-dollar corporation like Walmart doesn't have cameras pointing at the registers watching everything they do? No, literally watching them take money and not load the gift cards. Clearly see it on video that they're not doing what they're supposed to do, or loading the gift cards without taking money. God, these people are stupid.
She never swiped it.
Okay. Because she was probably anticipating, I'm assuming, anticipating she was going to have to put some on the gift card?
Yeah, split it.
What's the exact total on that one? 193. So she took 193 of this. How much that makes sense, you know?
This one comes up to 193.14. I don't think she took the 14 cents.
Oh, that's good of her. Okay, so let's
watch another one.
Okay, and this one's still Raven.
This one is for 219. Oh, no.
No, it's
334. God damn. 334.92.
That's for Raven as well?
Yeah, of course.
okay. You had that three. What was it?
What day was that?
This one is for. This is a receipt from original sale date of 6/16/23. Transaction was being refunded at 6/19/23.
6/19/23. What's the time frame on that?
19/16.
What's the total value on the receipt?
Total says 334.92.
330.
But that refund items.
Oh, she. Okay.
I think she only refunded damn near 219.
It was on
cash.
Okay, so this is that same receipt that you just showed us.
No, this is a whole new one.
No, the
$334.92.
Okay, yeah, that's okay. So again, we're not seeing any actual product being returned. It's just a receipt that this person is entering in for.
Romeo, what? The name's on here. He's on here.
He's on the back door.
Romeo Marco.
Okay. So in this video, Polo, she's showing him how to do it.
Pretty much.
Now they have it on video, the tutorial on how to do this. Hey, you ever want to, like take some money out of the register? So all I got to do is just like grab a receipt out of the trash, or when a customer doesn't want their receipt, you just take the receipt and then you, give them a refund, even though they're not bringing the items back because inventory, right? And then you just take the money. You just take the money. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. It's like our own personal ATM.
She's instructing him on how to do the refund. Okay. We'll do her next.
She was in the nail salon. Once he texts me, I gotta take you back there. No, my thing is so you can go.
So Stephanie's at
That's the Stephanie. Stephanie's the pregnant one, the big fat one. That's it.
Loss prevention recruited another employee to bring both thieves to the office, where officers would talk to them. They wanted the arrest to be safe, especially since one of the thieves was pregnant. However, as they were watching the cameras, they saw the employees actively stealing cash from the register.
Oh, goody. One of the employees is pregnant. This is a good way for her kid to come into the world. Her mother's a freaking criminal.
Not the girl with the braids. Really? The one with the braids. Yeah, that's Stephanie. That's not Stephanie. The big one that was in there with the clothes with the Walmart thing on there.
So which one is it?
Stephanie.
That's at the.
In the back, yeah. She was going to get her nails done.
She was getting her nails done, you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
So far,
She's just off getting her nails done. Just using the cash she stole to go get her nails done. That tracks.
Starts at 5:28.
Okay.
That's only 2 videos, right?
Yeah. So this is her again. This is the same day.
Yeah.
Because she's wearing the same clothes.
What's the date on this one?
The same day.
This one for $60 something.
Just working. I'm holding the TTY Second hotline for a welfare check. I'll have them go up there.
72.
Might as well just find the $70 ones and we'll
Yeah,
just
like I'll
go
see
to
2 of the $70 ones.
Or
Listen closely,
The guys
because
think
this
on this
is a
one.
solemn promise. This will be the last pair of dentures you...
One minute.
Oh, isn't a pregnant one Stephanie? Yeah. But the other pregnant one is a cow. There's 2 pregnant ones that we're doing.
Is it still Rachel?
2 pregnant ones. Are we being serious right now? Oh
my God. 2 of them?
Oh, man. So, and the thing that gets me about this too is that it's so bold. These aren't like little $10 here, $20 here. These are receipts worth hundreds of dollars. Hundreds. So they are well past the point of grand larceny. They're like into serious felony mode here. It's probably in the 5 figures, easy.
Is this all for Rachel? Raven, sorry, I was close. Try to put on.
Yeah, bro.
Let's just go back a month.
Oh, they had a 33. shots fired in that area.
Yeah, that's when they said it's about a lot to the north of our swell. It's probably going to be 16th Street, going 97.
Oh, this one in all black's got a little bit of an attitude problem. She got a little bit of sass with her. She better watch her mouth because she's in some deep shit.
Yes, ma'am, go ahead. Said you want to separate all of them.
That's a lot of money. That is nothing. What the hell? It's 20, so it looks like a lot.
She seriously just say they think it's a lot of money and it's not? It doesn't matter if it's $1. You took it from the register, you fucking thief. What do you mean it's not a lot of money? It just looks like a lot of money. It's not a lot of money. That doesn't make it okay, you nitwit.
That shit won't even last 2 months for nobody.
That shit looks like a lot of money to me. That's a big old stack of bills. And I'm sorry, it's gonna sound judgy, but you know what? She's a damn thief, so I'm judging. For someone who works at Walmart, for you to say that's not a lot of money, you can go f*** yourself.
14, 15, 16, 17.
And did she just say they work at Walmart and they know they got cameras watching? Wow.
18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 500. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
And they're just over there cutting up and laughing while he's counting all of this money that they stole. They're just laughing, giggling. They need to be separated because listening to them cackle and crack jokes would piss me off. They need to be separated. I cannot believe this entitled attitude that they have. First saying, oh, that's not a lot of money, like it's not a big deal, and then sitting there and laughing about it. Let's see if they're still laughing when their asses are planted in the backseat of that police car.
I have a dismissed shot spotter, 1917
13, 14.
at 412 16th Street.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1100. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 1200. 1, 2.
See if they have any GSWs then.
She got like a tattoo on her hand, like a flower. Yeah. Is this the the fourth person? This girl right here.
I don't know who that is. Who that was?
Who's the Miranda? Dia Miranda? Dia Miranda?
I don't know who that is.
Y'all know who that is?
We don't have no diamond that work in the front with us. But we have. Oh, I think it is.
You gotta know who it is. You just handed her money.
I did?
Yeah.
Let me see.
That's
Hercules, professional performance, unbeatable prices, only at Harbor Freight.
When I used to think about taxes, I would just cringe. I used to use a CPA.
I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is. Well, you just handed her money, you dumbass. Obviously, you know who that is.
But I'm saying here like I know who she is to be. Is that?
She got like a vine tattoo on her hand. No, I mean one of these managers. I don't know who she is. Y'all don't know who she is?
I'm trying to see if I catch her face.
Speed this up. Ready? Where we at? she nasty. She look at her fingers and shit. But okay. Must be some good chicken.
Must be some good chicken. That chicken must be finger licking good.
How many people you be handing money to?
Who knows?
All right, you don't know who she is?
Huh?
Y'all know who she is?
Oh, I was looking over there. I was looking on this TV.
This one? Yeah. All right, that's fine. It is what it is. All right, appreciate y'all. Just sit back down for me. We'll be done shortly.
15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 15, 45. What's all these? I do not like making mistakes with all this shit when you get to that desk. With my luck, last week, the money got stuck in the money counter.
Oh.
So I was there for like an extra 20 minutes there. So we're at 15:45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70. 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 1580. I got 1583 in bills.
So she says that ain't a lot of money. Well, in cash, it is $1,583. And Miss Sassy Pants, that is enough to classify this as grand larceny, which makes it a felony.
Plus, she got more money.
She does?
Yeah, right here. $1,583, $1,593, $1,594, $1,595, plus change. All right. So I got $1,595 in cash, and I'm gonna organize it and recount it one last time. So you're good. I just want to. All right. I'm gonna be. All right.
The employees were arrested and initially upheld the criminal code, not snitching on each other. However, when taken to jail, they all confessed to the crime, pointing fingers at each other. It turns out one of them stole the money and spent it on Jordan sneakers and a Louis Vuitton purse. More arrests were made, and the total loss was just over $10,000.
Yep. Into the 5 figures. I knew it. They weren't doing like these little piddly charges, $10, $20. It was in the thousands over however long they were doing this. They thought they were slick. But you saw Walmart loss prevention, security, they were keeping tabs. They had freaking file folders on their computer. They had screenshots of receipts. They had video footage matching the receipts. They were collecting evidence to bust them, and they did. And I am here for it. I am happy to see it. And I think it is hilarious that this one girl was sitting over here going, it's not even a lot of money. She probably had no idea how much it actually was and that it was in felony territory. She probably also didn't think that they were keeping tabs on all of the other times that they did it. And it was going to amass to over $10,000. And they were going to be in deep shit. She probably thought that the stack of cash that he had was just petty theft. It was just petty theft. It was under $1,000. It just looked like a lot because they were 20s. You think that a stack of 20s is a little bit of money? Seriously? God, you're stupid. And there you have it, a group of full-grown adults with jobs, with paychecks, access to benefits, and they needed them because, they're pregnant, risked all of it for what? Gift cards? Quick cash? Imagine throwing away your income, your record, your future, all because you thought that you outsmarted a system that tracks every single transaction. And my favorite part was when they hit that interrogation room. Suddenly, nobody knows anybody. Everybody starts pointing fingers and all of the stories start falling apart. Oh, now we get confused. But earlier, y'all were running a full-blown operation thinking you were getting away with it, laughing while they're counting the cash that you stole. Let me know what you think. Was this desperation? Was it greed? Or was it just plain stupidity? Tell me your thoughts.
All right. Another wild one. 1 minute.
Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 3877 AM. Today's date is April 6th, 2026. And the title of the episode is Trump is projecting what's going to happen when the Strait is open. A gusher. Now, we all know Wall Street doesn't lose money on sell-offs. You do. They create the panic, wait for you to dump your position out of fear and scoop it up at a discount. The big banks aren't selling their gold. They're buying yours. Every time the headlines scream, regular people sell, every time regular people sell, the institutions are right there, waiting with open hands. You built portfolio insurance for a reason. Don't let a red day hand it over to the people who cause it. That's why I tell people to talk to Noble Gold Investments. They will help you build a long-term plan and, more importantly, help you stick to it when the noise gets loud. The minors' up and downs, that's weather. The long-term trend, that's climate. And the climate has been favoring gold for 5,000 years. So the next time you see a dip and you feel that knot in your stomach, ask yourself one question. Am I making this decision, or is Wall Street making it for me? Don't let them shake you out of the position you built to protect yourself. That's exactly what they want. And right now, all new qualified accounts receive a 10th ounce American Gold Eagle as a thank you. Real gold in your hands. That's the whole point. Go to x22gold.com. That is x22gold.com, or just click the link in the description. And remember, past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals involves risk. Consult your financial advisor before making investment decisions. Let's get right into the economic collapse financial news. Now, the deep state, the corrupt politicians, the private central bank, the World Economic Forum, you can see they are not happy with what Trump is doing with the economy. They were hoping the economy would completely and utterly fail, especially with the Iran mission that is happening right now. And think about how Trump is actually forcing the Federal Reserve to lower rates. Remember, they base it on inflation. They base it on jobs. And that actually is their mandate, if you really think about it. And as Trump moves the jobs from the government sector over to the private sector, we don't see unemployment dropping like a rock because he's shifting jobs, which actually gives him ammunition to actually force the Fed into what he wants. Plus, as inflation drops, this gives him added ammunition to force the Fed in what he wants to do. And you could see with the job numbers right now, the job numbers look absolutely incredible. And basically, Trump has tripled the amount of jobs that they expected in March. And Trump, he put this out on Truth. He said, a very happy and blessed Good Friday to all, especially to the 186,000 Americans who gained private sector jobs in the month of March alone. My economic policies have created an enormously powerful engine of economic growth, and nothing can slow it down. Factory construction jobs are soaring as a result of the rapid onshoring and surging investment that tariffs have generated, all while the trade deficit has shrunk by 52% in a year. President DJT. So think about that for a second. All of a sudden, we're seeing a lot of jobs come back online, a lot of construction jobs. Actually, this is going to increase quite a bit as we move forward, because again, we're going to be building a lot of data centers. We're going to be building a lot of manufacturer complexes, and we're going to see construction jobs all over the place. And once again, when these jobs are created, the unemployment just doesn't drop like a rock, because again, what is Trump doing? He's removing the government jobs at the same exact time. So this way, he's actually keeping the rate pretty steady. Yes, slowly bringing it down, but he can use this against what the Federal Reserve wants to do. And I think this is how he's actually playing the Federal Reserve right now, because he can use the job numbers against them, and he can use inflation at the same exact time when you start to look at the strategy. And you could see that as of right now, Trump is getting the entire country and the entire world ready for very cheap energy. Actually, OPEC Plus is actually positioning themselves right now for the flood of oil. They're going to assist in all of this. So OPEC Plus, they have agreed to boost the output by another 206,000 barrels a day when the Strait of Hormuz reopens. So think about that for a second. Is it going to do anything right now? No, because again, a lot of the facilities, they were hit and it's not going to affect anything right now. But when the Strait of Hormuz does open, what will happen? All of a sudden, you'll see oil prices really start to move down. So this move that OPEC Plus is now telling you they're going to do, they're waiting until everything normalizes. And when everything normalizes, this is when all of a sudden you're going to see gas prices drop like a rock. And I think this is what Trump and the Patriots, they've been preparing for. Remember, Trump's main mission is to basically take control over the energy sector. And the deep state players, the central bankers out in Iran, they have been controlling this area for a very long time. And no matter what happens, Trump wins. If the Strait of Hormuz stays closed, Trump wins. If it opens up, Trump wins. Because think about it. When it's all said and done, no matter which way you look at it, either there's a flood of oil coming from the Strait of Hormuz or it stays closed. They can't use the fear market anymore. And everything is diverted to what? North America, to Russia. And these countries like China, Europe, they have to purchase their oil from there. So once again, that gives Trump control no matter which way you look at it. If Iran, the proxy army of the deep state players, if they stay in control, they still have the ability to control the price of oil across the globe. So this is why Trump is letting us know, when he's projecting out there what is going to happen when the Strait of Hormuz opens up. And this is what he put out on Truth. He said the following: with a little more time, we can easily open the Strait of Hormuz, take the oil and make a fortune. It would be a gusher for the world, President DJT. So basically, he knows that he controls the Strait of Hormuz right now. And basically what he's saying, listen, we can go in there with the military. We could just take it over and we can control the whole damn thing. And there's really nobody can stop us. I mean, Europe can't stop us. Iran can't stop us. The other deep state players, they can't stop us. So Trump has the ability to basically do this with no problem whatsoever. And this is why he's putting a lot of pressure on the deep state. He wants them to fold. He wants the bankers to fold. Surrender, and let's have the Strait of Hormuz open for the world with no fear whatsoever. And again, this is why they're continually pushing back, because they don't want this to happen. They want control. That's the whole point of this. The central bankers, they've been trying to bring us into what? The Green New Scam, the Great Reset. But think about what Trump says, a gusher. This is what we see like in Texas, for example, when we hit oil and it gushes up through the drilling process and everyone goes, holy crap, it's a gusher. We have tons of oil here. So global oil supplies are going to surge, which means prices are going to come down. Cheaper energy everywhere, lower costs for gasoline, heating, manufacturing, shipping, and virtually every product that uses oil, derived energy, or chemicals. Economic boom for consumers and importers, reduced inflation, higher disposable income, faster growth in oil-dependent economies. Fortune for producers, exporters who can now sell freely again. Trump basically is going to open all this. Opening it up and securing the oil turns the tap back on full blast, creating a sudden gusher of affordable oil that benefits the whole world economy. Now, we all know Wall Street doesn't lose money on sell-offs. You do. They create the panic, wait for you to dump your position out of fear and scoop it up at a discount. The big banks aren't selling their gold. They're buying yours. Every time the headlines scream, regular people sell, every time regular people sell, the institutions are right there, waiting with open hands. You built portfolio insurance.
Medical freedom starts with access. Most pharmacies decide for you, not with you. All family
for a reason. Don't let a red day hand it over to the people who cause it. That's why I tell people to talk to Noble Gold Investments. They will help you build a long-term plan and, more importantly, help you stick to it when the noise gets loud. The minors' up and downs, that's weather. The long-term trend, that's climate. And the climate has been favoring gold for 5,000 years. So the next time you see a dip and you feel that knot in your stomach, ask yourself one question. Am I making this decision, or is Wall Street making it for me? Don't let them shake you out of the position you built to protect yourself. That's exactly what they want. And right now, all new qualified accounts receive a a 10th ounce American Gold Eagle as a thank you. Real gold in your hands. That's the whole point. Go to x22gold.com. That is x22gold.com, or just click the link in the description. And remember, past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals involves risk. Consult your financial advisor before making investment decisions. And really think about this for a second. Trump went ahead and he did this in the early part of this year. What are people going to remember as we get closer and closer to the midterms? All they're going to remember is, look, oil, the gas prices are just getting cheaper and cheaper every single day. And like we said before, once this occurs, gas prices are going to snap back to where they were before, and actually then really start to move lower and lower and lower. That's what we're going to see. It's going to be absolutely incredible. And there's nothing the deep state can say. There's nothing the financial pundits can convince you of, because when you go to the pump and you see fuel below $2 a gallon, what are they going to say? It's not good for you? I mean, they could say that. They've done that before. But again, people are going to realize it's incredible, which means it puts more buying power into your pocket. Just like with this tax season that we're in right now, people are getting incredible refunds. People are getting refunds on their no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime. People have a lot more money. And actually, if you notice, why did Trump pick this exact moment to do this? Because he knew the tax returns were going to hit right now. This is mitigating the higher fuel costs right now. This is why the people aren't going around going, oh, look at the gas prices, because you know why? They just got a really good return. And when you get a good return, you feel good, you feel happy, you have more money in your pocket. Now, think about that. Take that good return and then have the fuel prices come down. Well, it's a double win for Trump, and that's where we're all going with all of this. And think about it. As we move closer and closer to the midterms, and Trump says, you know something? The tariff system is doing absolutely incredible. Oil is way, way down. Construction jobs and other jobs are coming back. We're building manufacturing plants all over the place, data centers all over the place, and jobs are coming back. Wages are going up. This is absolutely incredible. And the tariff system, because of all this, is doing phenomenally well. And what we could do right now is we can remove some of the income tax and relieve pressure for people. Now, he's going to start from the bottom. Remember, the central bank, when they came into existence in 1913, what did they do? They started from the top, from the very, very wealthy, and they moved on down because they couldn't start from the bottom and say, hey, listen, everyone who is in the poor category, the lower middle income category, yeah, we're going to tax you. No one would have bought what they were selling. So they had to start from the top. Oh, let's just hit the 1%, the very, very wealthy. And of course, everyone was going to be for it. Of course, everyone was going to say, this is incredible. We don't have to do anything. Let the rich pay for everything. Actually, if you look at the D's, they're still using that argument. I don't think anyone's buying that anymore because it doesn't work. Now, what Trump is going to do, he's going to do the opposite of what the central bank, of what they have done in the past to the people of this country. He's going to start at the bottom and say, listen, all those people in the poor category, the lower middle income level area, maybe the middle income area, we're going to basically remove the taxes for you. And this way, you don't have to pay the taxes. The tariffs will pay the taxes and fund the government because we're shrinking the government right now. You think those people are going to be very happy? That's a lot of the country. So Trump is going to actually bring these people to his side. And I do believe he'll start mentioning that as soon as the mission with Iran is over and fuel prices really start to come down. I do believe he's going to start making a case because think about it. He was able to get a clear path on the tariffs from the case that was brought to the Supreme Court. He used the IEEPA, the weakest of tariffs, and then he was able to use the other tariff statutes to actually set the path forward to continue with the tariff system. And now we're going to be selling energy across the globe, which is going to be even more money into this country because that's what this is all about. So you add the tariffs, you add the energy sales, because again, no matter which way you look at it with Iran, even if the strait opens, there's going to be other countries saying, listen, we never want that to happen again. Maybe we should purchase from the United States. Maybe we should purchase from Russia. And if they purchase from the United States, what's going to happen? All of a sudden, you're going to see income flow back into this country. And think about the data centers, all the technology, the AI technology, everything that we're creating here. That is also going to be maybe leased out, rented out. Who knows? So you could see that there's going to be a lot of money coming back to this country. And I think at a certain point of time, and I think probably this year, you're going to see Trump start to mention income tax. And when this occurs, you're going to see the D's completely flip out, the fake news completely flip out. The central bank, they're not going to like this whatsoever. And what's very interesting, since we're talking about income tax, actually, Jamie Dimon actually mentioned something that was very, very interesting. Wall Street Apes put this out and said, Jamie Dimon, CEO of JP Morgan Chase, says that the U.S. government raising taxes doesn't do anything to help the average American. He says raising taxes does nothing because Congress just launders the money to their friends, special interest groups, and 17,000 lobbying groups.
Let's be respectful.
I don't know anyone, and you guys in the room who might be Democrats, Republicans, who thinks that sending another $1 trillion to Washington, D.C. will actually improve anything. So when you say raise taxes, if you said raise taxes and directly give it to the people who need it, do it. That does not happen. It goes to all these interest groups, and they give it to their friends and all that, which is why the people are considered a swamp. It's a kind of swamp, the 17,000 lobbying groups, but banks, companies are guilty too. They're just fighting for their own self-interest as opposed to what's good for my country. So that's very, very interesting coming from Jamie Dimon. And again, that's exactly what it is. It's one gigantic scam that, yes, the banks are running. Yes, what the...
Oh, good. Welcome. And I usually had regular time, but with all the news coming out, there's so much news coming out. And I normally have 3 and 5 o'clock, but now it's crazy. But tomorrow I got to go shopping. It's shopping day tomorrow, so it'll be 2 shows tomorrow evening probably. And I've been on it almost 6 years and got over 1 million views, and we're doing good. We're telling us, getting all the intel out much as I can, and we got a good group of mods for me, and this all I ask is be respectful, and thank you, and I hope you like it. We had a rough beginning at when I first started, but came a long way. I accomplished. I got over 1 million views. Never would have thought. We got one video coming up. It's going to be 2 hours, but we're going to do an hour video. The hour, then the second hour on the second show at 3 o'clock. I got backup channels too, Tara. I don't know if Kay can drop the links for the backup channels too. But yep, it's going to get crazy. And other thing is, I'd like to ask what state you're from. I'm from Michigan. Yep, Tara.
Watch what magnesium does to your bowels.
If you have to wipe more than 4 times after you poop, here's...
These are running. The tax money goes into their money laundering system. That's all this is about. And this is why they just want to raise taxes over and over and over, because it assists them with their money laundering scheme. And you probably ask, well, how does this assist? Because that allows them to borrow more currency from the Federal Reserve. So if we really want to solve the problem, yes, we can remove taxes, but if we're going to remove taxes, we have to remove the Federal Reserve, because the Federal Reserve is what? It's a debt-based system. A debt-based system takes the currency, takes the wealth internally to fund their debt-based system. So basically, Trump has created an external system which brings in income. This is competing with the Federal Reserve. This is why he has done this, because if you get rid of the central bank, you still need income coming into the government. But what he has to do is he has to shrink government. He has to shrink the size. He has to shrink the number of people working. He has to shrink the number of agencies, because again, with the external system, you just can't borrow like crazy. So again, you have to have checks and balances, and that is exactly what he's doing right now. And this is what the deep state, the central bankers, do not want, because the bloat in the system allows their money laundering system to keep it operational. And that's what we've been seeing. But Peter Sayong, he responded to all this and says, to his credit, he admits banks are one of the biggest scammers and lobbyists. The solution is to starve the beast. Start with repealing the income tax. Well, I do believe that, yes, you can remove the income tax, but you have to go to the source, and that's the Federal Reserve. But I think what Trump is doing right now, once he weans us off, and it looks like maybe he's trying to tell everyone, maybe we should start moving away from the income tax, and maybe the parallel economic system is something that we should be looking at, because as we wean ourselves off the income tax, does that make it a lot easier for Trump to remove the central bank system? Yes, it does. Because if you're bringing in currency via the external engine, that can fund the government, that can pay for the debt right now, and we don't have to borrow from the Federal Reserve, and the people are not connected to the central bank because the people don't owe to the central bank. Basically, the tariff system is now paying for that. So will this make it easier for Trump to shift us and transition us into the new system? Absolutely. And I do believe that is where we're headed right now. And you can see that it's building and building and building. And you have to remember, Trump, he needs to put a lot of things in place before that can happen. And it looks like he's doing just that. And everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.
Okay, I believe that was the day before yesterday's X2 report. All right, we'll get the first hour of Mel and take a lunch break and back at 3, so it's 2-hour one.
Now, how is everything down under? I heard that you had I'll say the word adventurous week. I was getting a little worried there. I hadn't heard from you, and it's like, is she okay? Is she okay? And then at 4 o'clock this morning, I heard my phone going off. And it was like, I grabbed and I thought, who is messaging me at 4 o'clock this morning? And by heavens, it's the wonderful, beautiful Mel. And of course, I woke right up. It's like, oh my gosh, what's wrong? Are you okay? So
and of course,
that you are okay. So
yes,
I'll let you go ahead, Mel. Thank you.
Beautiful. I tell you what, that was a funny little moment, and she even managed to send me a little Giphy to keep my spirits high. Yes, welcome, everybody. The event. What happened was, of course, we just had a lot of technical issues in the background.
Good, Gay. I'll see you in a few hours.
Yeah, it took me 4 days to sort through that, but we're here now, and as I said to Wildflower, it is always my sanity to be able to come on and share with all of you. So I don't have over Easter. So happy Easter to all of you. I think it's Easter Monday, of course, for all of you. So still a very, very happy Easter. Easter is our timeline.
Oh,
so let's go back. I'm just going to do a little review, actually, on what's going to happen this week and into the following week. Okay, so we've got blockchain and digital assets are in high demand. We saw Marshall Islands and many other places are coming online with their new digital currency. Now, what's very, very exciting is these are all these stable coins, and a stable coin is reflected upon the connection of that coin or that token to actual commodities and assets. So that's why that is very exciting. So when you see those articles regarding stable coins and what have you, that's all to do with this transition to the gold standard or the golden years, so to speak. So very excited about that. Of course, keep an eye on what's going on Ripple, because they are the linchpin. We utilize their ledger for all of the activities that we're going to be seeing in our banking structures. So let's get to some very interesting reminders. I brought up regarding the IMF deals, and what those deals are is that they have an event this week on the 9th of April, and they called it a curtain raiser meeting. That reflects on, of course, DJT, the beautiful, illustrious president, pulling across the curtain. So being a curtain raiser, and as I said, I don't think this RV, so to speak, is going to be that reveal of DJT's going to say it, or the president. I think it's going to come from the corporations that are no longer structured as they were, but companies such as IMF are going to be the ones that actually announce this new golden year. Okay, and it makes logical sense for the eyes to see and the ears to hear. So the IMF, as I said, which work alongside of the trade organisation as one, and they work alongside of BRICS. Okay, so that's happening on April the 9th. So put that in your calendar as a very good marker. You generally don't see the implementations of that until sort of several hours later or the next day or within 2 days. They will release the what was said at those meetings. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is a very, very important meeting, I believe, especially the fact that they called it a curtain raiser meeting. And I've been following this for some time and I've never heard them say curtain raiser before. So that's very, very interesting. Of course, this also links up with some background stuff that is coming out of the sovereign groups, the admiral groups, the CMKXs and things like that as well. They're aiming at the 9th of April as well. So I find, again, that is very, very interesting. No full details have come through, as I said, because of the Easter long weekend, but I do expect to hear.
Hey, Squad Boss. Kay just left. She'll be back in the next show. We're going to do an hour, then the other hour tonight, second show, big show. I tried getting out of her chat last night, but I couldn't be able to talk to her.
Is something hopefully by Wednesday, Thursday, we will get some more insights from all of those groups as well. Okay, so I'm just going back over some old notes. We're talking about, of course, let's talk gold and silver and things like that as well. The gold is predicted to be $6,300 an ounce by the end of the year, according to JP Morgan. Okay, that sets us up for a very big ride and a boom as it all comes through as well. Just a reminder too that the tariffs that we're seeing, that other countries are now adding their own tariffs. So I think this is going to be part of one of those questions that Tom's going to ask me today. But tariffs strengthen the dollar in your country by reducing the amount of imports, by the balancing of the trade, and creates the capital for the country. And this is why we're seeing and hearing many countries now talking about their tariffs inside of their country. So back in the day, before taxes were created, tariffs was what they used. They actually originally used tariffs with using herbs and spices, and that as well as gold and silver. So keep that in the back of your mind as we change over, so to speak. The DTCC, which is your Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation, they're tokenizing all the US treasuries, and that's why we're seeing this fluctuation, I guess you can say, in the treasury bonds. Okay, so it all starts to line up. They are saying that they are going to be fully integrated in the second half of the year. Well, we're almost through the first half, so don't panic. And of course, this is the development of the foreign currency exchanges and how much they are going to increase their speed and transparency, of course, using the XRP Ledger blockchain. So keep an eye out on the DTCC as well. Oh, I do have a note here, dinosaurs are dragons and mountains are trees. Anyway, that's another side note. So let's get to and have a look at The Saudi Arabia, of course, are also heavily involved in this whole organization. If you have been following, of course, for some time, you understand the dynamics of the Crown Prince. Well, he's bringing the World Economic Forum to the forefront in the sense that they're talking about postponing their jihad meeting, which was set for the 22nd to the 23rd of April as well. The reason I'm giving you those dates is, as I said, these are markers, and these are often markers to create something for you to watch while something else is going on. So we will talk about it in a very short minute before we go to Q&A about things that it's been pretty quiet in the intel side of things, but has it really? So we'll get to that one in a short minute. Of course, the dilemma, of course, is still going on regarding the Clarity Act, blah, blah, blah. We just about had enough of that one, haven't we? But just reminding, of course, what RWA stands for is the real world assets. And these are the assets that are going to be going back to one-to-one backing. So we're keeping an eye on all of those as well. That's to do with the crossing of the Delaware and, of course, the Delaware banking, which we have reposted. I see a few people out there are getting on board with what I was actually saying. So reminder, of course, about the Genius Act, which was signed into law by President DJT in July of 2025. Gee, that imposes a 4th of July 12-month anniversary prize, doesn't it? And, of course, that is the implementation of the Genius Act. And, of course, this was a genius movie, wasn't it? So let me go through some more notes just to make sure we're up to date. The actual legislative actions that I'm looking for as well regarding pushing the Clarity Act aside for one moment, of course, is the Bipartisan Fiscal Commission Act and the Article 5 connecting that Fiscal Act to the amendment of the US Constitution. That there, ladies and gentlemen, I'm actually interested to see what Derek has. We should throw that question to Derek, shouldn't we? He's a constitutional boy. So that's where I'm sitting right now, of course, is, as I said, the Fiscal Commission Act, the US Constitution being altered and changed. That there is the legislative changes for us to go over to the gold standard. So with all of that being said, just quickly, before we get into Q&A, as of the April the 16th, of course, the NASDAQ stock market and JP Morgan are transferring over all their current exchanges into the NASDAQ stock market. So you would think, logically speaking, that whatever they're going to be transferring over on the April the 16th, things would have had to have already happened or changed prior to that on those NASDAQ stock markets, and that for them to be transferring 14 exchangeable tradable funds. If you don't understand that, basically an exchange traded fund is just an investment pool of funds that's put into a basket and they hedge it on the stock market. Okay, so these are just a group of investments and they trade them. So again, a very big note to put down is April the 16th regarding these transfers of these investment funds are going to occur on that day. So as I said, something is about to happen with the stock market and that foreign currency exchange platform for that to actually occur.
Hey Terry, morning. I wrote on my headline today for today's shows that a lot of stuff coming out. I'm trying to keep up with all the intel, so tomorrow's gonna be shopping day, and we'll probably have 2 late shows tomorrow. And then this is a 2-hour bell. We got an hour now, and we'll play the hour later. And a lot of good stuff coming out. So, and yeah, my Michigan team won the title last night, so that was a good night with the game last night. Kay just left. She's going to rest up for the show for later. But, yeah, like Liberty said last night, he's saying there's so much news out, it's hard to keep up with everything. We'll go about an hour on here and take a break.
actually occur. So that's the most important thing to get out of all of that. The last time we spoke, of course, I mentioned about the generational wealth that has already been posted. If you haven't seen it, it is posted in the main channel of Mayhem Mail News. And of course, for the UK, the US, and I think I did Canada as well. So that has all been posted. So I'm up to date with all of that. A lot of news coming out of Zimbabwe at the moment, and of course, and South Africa. I've never seen so much news. Just hold on a second, Mariah. I'll be with you in a moment, honey. So there has been a lot of news coming out of South Africa. I've never seen so much news regarding their banking system and that as well. That's very, very exciting. And it's also, remember too, that Zimbabwe, South Africa are virtually linked into the logistics of those blockchains as well. So keep an eye on what is happening in South Africa as well. May the 15th, they're talking about the predictions of $900 to $1,000 per ounce. And of course, May the 14th is when the silver futures expire as well, and they can't extend that out. So is that going to be the rock and roll before they change over on the exchange of those ETFs, with the silver futures and that being on April the 14th? So all in all, we are looking at a very, very busy week and a half. And I think that is pretty much, other than what I'm going to talk about shortly, of course, is all the stuff that's in the background that I'm going to share.
13
and then we
minutes
can
in.
open it up to Q&A. Okay, so as I said last Sunday, banks are seeing movement in the back screens. What are these back screens that we all talk about and hear about? These are, of course, the back screens that it's not the banks or the bank managers don't even get to see some of these either. These are what we call above the banks. So this is basically, they're linked to the central bank in a sense, and these are what we call back screens that we're seeing. They're seeing funds are entering into people's accounts. Now, they can't tell us who these people are or what or anything like that, but it's, as I said, it's certainly lining up with those posts that we see in that US debt clock. Not that I focus on that, but people send it to me and I go, well, that is linking to those as well. So very, very important to keep an eye on that as a reference, but I can back that one up because I have heard in the background that there is money flowing into accounts. The US Treasury note, we all hoped and thought it was going to come out before Liberation Day, on Liberation Day. Where is it? What's happened? As I said, just remember that has been signed now by DJT. That was your marker, so to speak, as the release of the US Treasury note. So that was an actual marker. It wasn't what we thought it would be, although nothing is about what we thought. As for the currencies, as I have said, the Commonwealth Bank here in Australia is our largest of the banks, foreign currency and their apps. And of course, they've just had another update. And they're talking and adding further more currencies onto that app as well. As I always say, make sure that you know in your country what is tradable, what isn't, what's going to happen with, say, as I said, I've utilised this as an example. It is only an example where the Iraqi dinar could certainly be pegged to the Jordanian or the Kuwaiti dinar to give you that exchange if that was to occur in that way. Okay, so just keep an eye on that. There has been a lot of things that I have been posting regarding the business foreign currency accounts. The reason I'm doing that is to remind you, as I said, we touched on it last week, where I happened to mention that, you know, running a project or projects requires us basically to maintain it as a business. We can certainly give money away and allow them to do whatever they want. But what generally happens is that if you look at this from a business perspective, as President DJT and DJT at the time has always said, treat this as a business, because if you treated it as a business and set it up and structure it correctly, you will have onflowing of currencies and funds to fund further and more projects, because once you give that away and they need more funding, then you haven't got that, if that makes sense. So so they've just made some alterations. So there's alterations going on in foreign currency accounts and how they operate. And of course, this has got to do with international money transfers and international payments as well. So say if you were doing a project in Iran or something to that effect, these are things that you need to start thinking about and believe that you've already received your funds. The other big news too, I just come across this one. We did touch on Ripple just a short time ago, but also remember the National Trust Bank licensing for Ripple is due to come out. Also, I would expect to see some big news coming out in the next 36 hours regarding that. Okay, getting back to what I was just saying about the foreign currency accounts, let's talk about the stamp duty on properties. As I said, every country has a different platform that they utilise, or similar to a stamp duty on sale of properties. Foundations, there's also foundations and the different structures of foundations. As I said, if you don't know how to run a project, perhaps it may be a good idea that you go and actually join or become a board member on some of these foundations to find out how they actually operate before actually operating one yourself. Okay, so there's many things that we can be doing now so as to avoid any kind of intervention, I should say, into funding, so that we continue to give and give and give. That was a video that I was watching, so we'll skip through that one. And of course, as I said, the worldwide wallets. Well, this is what I was really wanting to talk to a little bit more about today, because I have touched on it previously. I have actually mentioned that, so just a reminder too, that anyone out there advertising for quantum financial accounts, they are scammers. Please make sure that you are using your discernment, okay? There is no such thing as give me your details and I'll set up your quantum account, because you need to have that before it all starts. No. Your digital wallet, and this is what I have been stating for some time, as your banks progressively make changes, it is not part of the New World Order. This is part of the quantum wallets. Now, when we first look back, or those who have been around for some time, remind yourselves of when we used to always hear about the quantum account as a separate card. It is an account that you have. It doesn't earn interest. It's not connected to the banks. Well, that's very similar to a digital wallet that you are in control of. So it's worldwide. The foreign currency wallets were being updated and changed, okay? Whilst we were sitting down enjoying the beautiful Easter spirit and blessings, these things were going on in the background. Get very, very excited, because you can't see it doesn't mean it wasn't happening. So worldwide, all the foreign currency wallets were being updated and changed, and how they function. This is a great thing, because it's after the 23rd of April where you're going to start to see the, or experience, I guess you could say, what's going to occur with your quantum physics or your quantum energy. And these, of course, are your biometrics that open and unlock your wallet. Hence why I go back to the theory about this quantum card, or this QFS card. Yes, there will be a card, but there's also going to be your funds, I believe, will be what we call similar to that of a ledger. Now, if we're already utilising the XRP ledger for our what we call wholesale transactions through governments and treasuries, I have mentioned previously that the banks are now operating or working in the background, which I believe it's already done, but working in the background for that wholesale central banking transaction platform to a retail, which is you and I, the people, okay? So I'm going to put this into a little bit more of a perspective. Hopefully you get to understand it. So we have this XRP ledger that's been integrated from the central bank into the Treasury, utilising, like I said, what they call a wholesale platform. Simultaneously, we need that as the people. So this is what they call the retail platform. And that's what...
We got 39 minutes, and then we'll finish the second half tonight at 3 after 3. This is 2 hours.
The banks have been working on over the course of the weekend. This is for our personal quantum account, okay? So get very, very excited as well, because that's what was happening over the weekend, and they were specifically working on the foreign currency wallets worldwide. So very, very exciting. So we're going to see, as I said, some big changes you're going to notice occurring on the 23rd. So it's probably a good idea, just a recommendation, not any kind of financial advice or advice per se, but to make sure that your phones are being updated regularly to keep up with the security and the versions for these upgrades that are occurring in those sectors. If you haven't already noticed too, of course, we can talk a little bit more about the holistic approaches. We talk about holistic health all the time, but let's talk about holistic wealth. And of course, this is to do with the posts that I posted. Of course, you can certainly go through and entertain yourselves. There's a lot of posts there, but there was a reason for that, is, as I said, the changes that were going on over the 4-day Easter long weekend were important and imperative for you to start really focusing. As I said, with the multiple changes that are happening in the next 2 weeks, I expect to see some big movements after the 23rd of April. So these are just markers. They are not dates, by the way, just putting that out there. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, this was a little message that I wrote to someone the other day, and I'm actually kind of proud of it. So I'm going to share it with all of you before we get into Q&A. I'm wishing you all of Christ's many blessings throughout this Easter season. Lift up your heart, and the miracles will bring you peace. Feel the love shining into your life. Just remember, in ancient times, the 1st of April was the original start of the new year. So let us, as a family, focus on not just a new year, but a new life, a new journey, and new blessings. Know that you are not alone, and we are all alone in this together. So when we come together, where we go one, we go all. So ladies and gentlemen, it is now over to you. I just get so emotional when I write these little poem things out the top of my head. But yes, so it's a question time. It's all over to you, ladies and gentlemen. You have my undivided attention. Who's going to start?
Hi, Mel. How you doing? Thank you for that.
I am superb.
Thank you for that nice update.
My pleasure. Always a pleasure, Mr. Tom.
Ditto. So I posted a question on the wall, and let me read it out. So Catherine Austin Fitz, who is the founder of the Solari Report and the former senior HUD advisor under the Bush administration, recently met with Andy Schechtman of Miles Franklin Pressure. Geopolitics, de-dollarization, BRICS moves, bond settlements backed by gold, and declining trust in U.S. treasuries. The focus was specifically on digital finance risks, including stablecoin, funding U.S. debt.
Tom, hang on a minute. Did somebody have their mic open? Please close it. I can't scan down through everybody. Okay. Oh, I found it. Okay. Please keep your mics closed, and if you see that you're open, please just shut them. Thank you. Go ahead, Tom.
Sure. They focused on geopolitics, de-dollarization, BRICS moves, yuan settlements backed by gold, and declining trust in U.S. treasuries. The focus was specifically on digital finance risks, including stablecoins, funding U.S. debt, tokenization, turning assets into programmable surveillance instruments with built-in rules for spending usage, including KYT, which is know your transaction, and KYC, know your customer or client. Now, Amazon, Walmart, and Expedia have discussed issuing their own USD-pegged stablecoins to avoid Visa and MasterCard interchange fees. So my questions are, how do you see stablecoins tied to toxic U.S. treasuries or the big corporations playing out? How are stablecoins not just another form of CBDC, central bank digital currency, that can be turned on or off at will by our government or corporation? And then 3, how will stablecoins help small mom and pop businesses thrive and compete with the giant conglomerates that were unfairly allowed to prosper during the COVID-19 pandemic? Thanks, Mel.
Good. That's okay. There's a lot to that. There's 3 in 1 there. Okay, so first of all, the notes that you brought up about the digital asset, the tokenization, the surveillance, the KYC and the KYT, that is standardized throughout this whole thing. So what happens is, as I said, the stable coin, as I touched on just before, that's why I said this is related to a bit about this question. This is to do with the wholesale. Now, they call it a wholesale CBDC, but here is that transition period that we don't like to know about. It is not the central bank digital currency. It is central banking digital currency. Now, the fact that these stable coins are being run on DeFi, that is separate to what the original CBDC was going to be. And a stable coin is going to be utilized, as I said, in the wholesale sector. It's not going to so much affect the small business owner. So what I'm seeing is the restructure in the taxation office of businesses who run under 5 million. I think it's 4 or 5 million from my memory. I'll have to go and have a double check. But they're classing small businesses a $5 million turnover nowadays, which is quite significant to what it was classified as previously.
Will we stop it at the
Now, if you're pulling in $5 million
back at 3
in turnover,
this is
you
2 hours.
now have the capability to create your own stable coin. That's my take on that. That's the short version of that one, Tommy. But it is not going to be, they bring it to your attention not to add fear to it. These have been going on, and because they are stable and they are stabilizing, the banks don't like it. I know there's been many articles about the banks don't like the stable coin. They're not, they don't want this Clarity Act to go through, rah, rah, rah. It's like I said, it's happening whether they like it or not. There's nothing stopping this. I take it on good faith that what I'm seeing and reading is not the old system. It was what could have been the system, sure. But the tokenization and the surveillance and everything else, there has to be surveillance. This has been the issue that we had previously. We've just run it through the Bitcoin blockchain, which was previously just a hashtag where you could alter the hashtag system. That system is now gone. It has been altered and changed. Hence why President DJT has taken the Bitcoin mining and added it to the United States of America so that they can control it. It has to be surveyed. So when you hear these subject matters of what they're talking about, it's not to bring fear into what is actually going on in the background. It is simply the fact that it is a new world and there will be order. You cannot go into a new world without any changes and have some form of order. There will always be order. Understand that. It's just going to be a more positive order. So for me, the fact that they're talking to Miles Franklin and my little favourite man in silver and gold, Andy Schreckman, I'm positive that they always bring this up because it creates theatre for people to watch the show. So if it's got a little bit of negative, but be careful about the surveillance. What do you think about the surveillance? Well, there is already surveillance, and you've been under Big Brother surveillance for how many years? What's happening is that we're seeing these simultaneous central bank digital currencies and central banking digital currencies.
No.
So when
look it up.
IMF and the World Trade
And
Organization incorporated with BRICS was the one that converted that central bank digital currency, or the old system, into central banking digital currency. So that's the difference. And again, it's one of those ones, Tom, that we have this transition where we sort of sit on the fence. Are we being scammed?
Half hour, you guys.
Are we going in the right
This is the second
direction?
half.
Again, it's all got to do with what's going on in the background, because they'll tell you what they want you to hear, but in actual fact, like I said, the new surveillance they have, as I mentioned just a little bit briefly earlier, is the fact that you're starting to see changes in the digital wallets, in your banking apps. Now, in these digital wallets, you actually control. You can block and unblock your own card. You can set the limit in your card. You can set that you don't want international payments to go out of that card. You set, not the bank, no one else. You log in with your fingerprint, your facial recognition, your PIN number, your 3 or 4 factor in authenticity. That's on you. That is on you, not the bank, not the government. You put that in, and then you are controlling that digital wallet. That's why I say it's important and imperative that people start thinking about the responsibility that they're going to have once they receive this wealth, because it's coming. They're all talking to you about intergenerational wealth, generational wealth, these digital assets, this tokenization. How is it good, bad, or indifferent? With any kind of change, and we all have to accept the change, it's not going to be for everyone. It's not a perfect system, no. And as I say, I don't tell you my opinion. I give you what I can see, in the hope that you can use your own discernment and then go away and have a look and discern for yourself whether you think it's good or bad and whether you want to utilize that. But the KYC, as I said, you are now becoming more in control of that through the digital wallets, the surveillance. Well, like I said, it's no different to using the theory of surveillance cameras. We don't like them, but here's my take on that. Any form of surveillance to protect my children, my grandchildren, my auntie, my grandmother, my husband, my wife, whoever. The minute something happens, what's the first thing that you do? You look up at the cameras and go and think, well, what's on the camera? But we don't want them there because, oh, that's Big Brother watching you. No, if you're not doing anything wrong, it should not even register to you about the surveillance cameras. Surveillance can work both ways, just as digital assets, tokenization, surveillance, KYC, KYT, they all work the same way. There's good, the bad, and then different, but focus on the positive here and say and know that, as I said, the minute a child goes missing, the only way we can find that child is through surveillance. So you can either have it or you don't have it. It's entirely up to you. It's the same with anything in this world. You can look at this from the negative view, or you can look at it and say, okay, what are the positives here? And I'm positive with the amount of things that have happened to me over the 4 days. Thank goodness I've had surveillance to look after me, because that was chaos over those 4 days. So there you go. But the geopolitical side of it, it is political. It's geographically political. Yes, that is an actual changing of the guard as well. Geopolitical will no longer be political, so to speak. It is a geographical political change, and that's where the change is coming. So, but yeah. So Agent 99, you're going to have to wait there, honey, because MKS has a question. But Tom, did I answer enough of that, or did you want some more clarity on a few things?
No, I think you did a really good job, and I think you've eased.
So too easy. So MKS, how are you, darling? Agent, yeah, just Agent 99. You're going to have to wait, Don. I'm going to take yourself off camera as well. So MKS, how are you?
I'm sorry, I didn't have a question.
Oh, you just wanted to say hello. Of course you didn't.
I'm listening.
That's okay. I know you are. You're a very good listener. Absolutely you are. Well, definitely. I've missed you in the chats. I have to get to the chats. Aussie G, how are you, darling?
Hi, Mel. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, sweet. What's your question
Good that
today?
you're back in Australia.
I know.
Okay, so I was the lady that refinanced with Bank West.
I know who you are. Yes.
Oh yeah, you know who I am. Yeah. Okay, so now I'm hearing that they're going to raise the interest rates.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay. But I just want people to think about the fact that I got 3% less when I refinanced. Okay?
Yes.
So I'm now, if by some chance, so I was on 8% or I was on about 8.5%. I think I got maybe 3.5%. Anyway, I went down to 5%. Now, even if they raise it another 3%, I'm still not any worse off.
Exactly. Yep. So
and
which they won't,
yes,
by the way. I don't
moment,
expect them to. So
okay. But even if I didn't, so if I had have sat there and left it, so that's been proactive. So I'm very happy that I did. I had people telling me not to refinance. You're supporting the system. But financially for myself, I had to refinance because it was killing us. Okay?
Exactly.
So we refinanced. It came through. It was stalemated, and then all of a sudden January hit, and boom, week and a half, we were done it. They stalemated it right from November. Yep. So all I'm saying is I'm glad I didn't wait. I'm glad I refinanced because at the moment, I would have been like paying way more.
Absolutely.
So that's my first thing. So don't wait if you need, and don't be scared to refinance if you have to. I don't think.
Well, I think you and I had that discussion, and I think that's a very good point. Before you go on to your question, honey, is that this is what you and I discussed, I think, on another Q&A, and I suggested to you, not a full recommendation, but I did suggest to you to, do what's best for you. Go and be proactive, and that's what we're talking about a lot today. And moving forward is about being proactive and taking control of what you can control. And it's not about being in the system, but it's interesting how you talked about after the 1st of January happened. As I said,
yes.
These are why I give those dates is because there's another change. And I think from memory, Aussie G, I just want you to verify whilst we're on this live that when you and I discussed it, I did say I think April, May was going to be another change from memory, if my memory serves me correctly. So there you go.
Well, yes, they stalemated us November, December, January. So they stalemated us for 3 months. No way. He kept saying to us, we went through a broker. For some reason, we can't get it through. I don't know why it won't go through. We just won't go through. Nothing's going through at the moment. And then January hit. He texted us and said, "You're ready to refinance now?" And I went, "Well, yeah." It went a week and a half, and it was done. So again, open. It'll open. Now, second of all is it's a bit of a sneaky question, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I know you're going to giggle and laugh with your facial expressions, but I would like to ask you, okay, because I know that you've been to different banks and you've been doing all these meetings and all this stuff, lots of stuff that we don't know about in the background. Know that you're getting info. Yeah, she's going to have to cover her face because she'll be giggling in a minute. Now, you've been getting a lot of information lately. I know you have, and more so than ever. So can you I don't want to know who it is or what it is or even any time periods, but would I be able to get you on camera to say that it's 100% sure that it's going to happen? That the
100%
QFS
sure
is
it's going to happen.
going to come? Yes. From who you're because all this year you've been busy. And so you're definitely guaranteeing all of us on here that it's all going to go through smoothly, isn't it?
It's a smooth transition. 100% smooth as. It's a lot smoother when I even thought to myself 6 months ago. I didn't realise how smooth of a transition it's going to be, but it is very, very smooth. And big credit to those who are in the know.
It could even be already done.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go. I just wanted to. It's not if and when it's happening. Good girl. Thank you, my darling.
That's all right. No worries at all.
Thank you, Elsie. Next question, please.
Oh, I can hear somebody.
Well, if not, we can jump over to the wall.
Yeah,
Tom,
go
do
for
you
it.
want to read the questions on the wall?
I'm happy to do that.
Thank you.
Mel, did the Clarity Act actually go, or is it all speculation?
It's a speculative situation, but it's already in play. So how do I explain that better? Okay, so let's say that these acts, just hold on a second. Tom just asked a question. Hold on to 2 secs. The Clarity Act was an act that was, or a bill, and it's being implemented. It's always been implemented. So when the Genius Act came out, the Clarity Act was already in place. Does that make sense? So when the Genius Act, as I said, was signed, the Clarity Act technically hasn't been signed, but they're using the Clarity Act foundation, so to speak, is to push that through to make the Genius Act claritable. So there's multiple layers, there's multiple situations or timelines going on at the moment, but it's a very tricky one because people are questioning about the Clarity Act, and I get that, but technically on the inside, it's just something that was a foundation to activate the Genius Act, which it did. And the Genius Act has been, as I said, signed into law, but they're using the foundation of the Clarity Act to implement that. And once that has been completed, hence why I said about the foundation, those two that I talk about quite often, which is the Fiscal Commission Act is the one. This is the bipartisan HR 3289. That's part of the Clarity Act. Okay. And the second part of that legislative, so everything that you're seeing about the Clarity Act is, like I said, those fundamentals to create movement. They're using the Clarity Act as the movement. Is it real? Yes. Technically, has it passed? Yes, but it hasn't been passed. What it actually is, as I said, the Fiscal Commission Act. And the second part to that, of course, when it goes to Congress and the Article 5, then amends the US Constitution. Now, once you make an amendment to the US Constitution, that basically obsoletes the Clarity Act. It won't be part of the actual thing, but the Genius Act comes into play, which is, like I said, it's almost like part of the movie saying this is a Genius Act, as in the play itself is genius. The Clarity Act basically is a foundation to activate all of these other things, Is it real? Is it not? Fundamentally, it is just a fundamental, and how they play that out, as I said, nothing that we've seen, and unless it's passed in the constitutional law, then it's just part of the act, so to speak. I hope that answers it, because it's really complex. Now, the Clarity Act's playing a role, but it's not actually an act, but it's there as a fundamental to create the onset of all of that. So I'm going to be interested to see what Derek Johnson says
3
about the US
o'clock,
Constitution,
probably,
because, as I
Lori.
said, these are the constitutional changes that we have to have. It has to be the changes to go back to a gold standard or the golden years, so a golden age. It has to be constitutional. So that's why I'm saying the only one that I found that is relevant to join the Clarity Act, the Genius Act, and the Golden Age together is that one that I just mentioned. So hopefully that answers that question without confusing you even more. But it is a fundamental situation going on. Like I said, there's so many different parallels running. It's the same with the central bank digital currency running alongside the central banking digital currency. But yeah, hopefully that answers that question.
Hey, Mel, this is Wildflower. Just to add to that, a thought, the Constitution and Bill of Rights are sitting on a shelf right now. They're not even invoked.
Exactly.
They're irrelevant right now. So how, I'm questioning, like you said, how are they going to do that if it has to be constitutional when that's not even in play right now?
These, like I said, these are brilliant questions to ask the man of the moment tomorrow, because that's what I'm seeing too, sweetie, is that these things are just sitting there. To me, as I said, the only explanation or logical sense that I could make is that they are just fundamentals in the act, so to speak. And unless it's passed in Congress constitutional-wise, that's what I said. We can all sit there and hope and dream and wish for certain things to happen, but to me, this is all unfolding, and it has to be in the US Constitution. So once that amendment has been made, and I think then once that's happened, then the part 3, which is us actually having the disbursement of our generational wealth, is the golden age. So that's what I'm saying. So keep an eye out on that. That to me is one of the biggest fundamentals, because they're just sitting on the shelf. And I think they are part of the act. And if they were to perhaps collapse the Congress and the government, then all that disappears anyway. But I think these are just fundamentals that they've utilised to keep the narrative going. So very good point. Thank you, Wildflower. I'm glad someone else is seeing that and can confirm what I'm saying. So thank you, Don. Appreciate you very much, Lee.
You're welcome. Tom, you want to do some other questions on the wall?
Hey, Mel.
Sure. This question was something I had been thinking of as well. So our cold wallets, biometric wallets and so forth, what happens with them? Do we transfer the ISO tokens to the QFS?
11 minutes.
Or what do we do?
That's a good question, Tom, because I think that's going to be one of those ones that automatically happens, to be quite honest. Because if they're not on the messaging system, so the ISO 222, that for those who are still not quite grasping that, is a messaging system for this quantum blockchain to operate. It has a messaging system, and it's international standard operations of ISO. They just given a number, ISO 222. So 222. So if they are not registered on that, then they're not quantum. So I think it will just be automatic, to be honest, Tom. Do you lose them? I think a lot of them, as I said, are going to be integrated either through Ethereum, which is now Solana, Sol. There's an interesting, thought-provoking idea, ladies and gentlemen. And then, of course, as I said, there's many bridges that they have built to convert them over, if they haven't already done so. So I don't think this is going, like I said, it's going to be a smooth transition. The tokenization, they'll just be automatically transferred, from my understanding that I can see in the logistics of side of things. So, yeah.
So are you saying these third-party cold wallets would die on the vine, or are you suggesting they could be integrated?
They can be integrated. I think they will die in the vine, to be honest, eventually. Again, like I said, we're starting to see things like in BPay, the BPay view symbol has disappeared. So I think the same thing will happen with cold wallets. They were there, they were designed for a temporary measure. Eventually, once you go to a full quantum system, the fear of holding them on in a cold wallet was going to disappear. So I think eventually they will, but certainly for peace of mind, you want to be keeping them on a cold wallet and then transferring them over as you see fit. But again, wait and see what happens. But I think they will be. I think they will disappear. I think, like I said, eventually, when you become your own bank, you're not going to need them. So yeah.
And that goes back to the trust in the QFS system.
The QFS system, yeah. So.
All right, I'll ask one more question on the wall, and then I guess we'll go back to asking questions.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, what do you? I guess this was asked previously. What do you hear about the tariff dividends, Social Security increases, Doge payments?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
See small ones coming up soon. I think a lot of people are suffering, and
Oh, yeah. I know.
Go ahead.
Let's just to say, let's watch this week. I will go back onto that one. As I said, I was focused so much on these foreign currency accounts and that over the weekend, in between all the dramas that I was having. But I will make sure that I make a note. So, Tom, can you send that question to me? It doesn't have to have the person's name on it, but just, you can delete the sender's name, just so that I can work on that this week. And I will make sure that, as I said, if I find any updates, being over Easter, going into the IRS and stuff like that to see if there is any payments due, any payments coming, things like that as well. I haven't seen anything, but I haven't looked either. So if you could send that over to me, I will endeavour, as I said, if I, like I did with the intergenerational wealth for the US. So I hope God's Alpha is out there and she's received that. I will make an endeavour to make sure that I follow up specifically on those 4 or 5 items through the IRS and other means that I look into. And I'll definitely post that with the question. So, yeah, we'll do that. Because I haven't seen anything, but I haven't looked either. So I do apologise for that.
All right. Thank you, Mel.
That's all right.
May I ask?
Wait a minute. Hold on, please. Chicken Vittles, did you have a question? Because you had your mic open first.
Yes. Yes,
I did. Hi, Mel, friend.
Hello, sweetheart.
Had any cornbread lately?
No, I haven't. And the best cornbread is still yours, honey. You are still at the top of the list.
I'm just ecstatic that I get to talk to you. I tried to figure this thing out on my phone, and I was in and out, and I thought, good Lord, they're going to kick me out permanently. I'm going to be banned from Mel's channel if I don't get this figured out. So I was in and out of your channel the last time, and then I kind of gave it a break. But I hope you're doing well, girlie, and I have a question for you.
Yes.
Will the holistic wealth managers be aware of what's coming in reference to the wealth transfers, do you think?
Okay, so that's a bit of a loaded question because they are all aware. They are aware of the intergenerational wealth and the great wealth transfer. How they've been incorporated is, again, through the channeling side of things. They're talking about you often hear these articles regarding the X generation, the Y generation, the baby boomers are going to, pass on their wealth to their children and that side of things. So that's how they're getting educated. If you're asking the question, are they aware of our generational wealth, as in the fact of the RV, No, they're not. They're not informed of that. But that is irrelevant in the sense that you don't want them to know that your funds came from a revaluation of currencies either. You just want them to know that holistically, if they have a holistic approach, then they're not concerned about all of that. They want to know what you want to do with your money. That's the difference. So are they educated? They still remain within the system per se, but they have been educated upon the baby boomers are going to receive their wealth and they're going to transfer that. But again, it is up to your discernment to find someone that you relate to in the holistic approach, if that's what you want to go down as well. So it's a bit of a loaded question, but it's about you finding the right person for you. So, yeah. Okay.
And since you said that, how do you go about learning, where to find a wealth manager, a holistic wealth manager, or to learn about the XRP or the banking process, like the Ripple, et cetera? Where do you go to get this information for, like me, for instance? I'm really not familiar with this new, if you want to call it the quantum financial process for the money, the funds being transferred through Ripple, et cetera. Like, who do you go to? How do you go about trying to get this information for somebody who doesn't, like my grandfather asked about it. I said, I've got to ask somebody because I can't tell you. I don't really. And he goes, what are we going to do?
No, exactly. No, I get where you're coming from. So understand that everything's already been done on the actual blockchain. So there's nothing for you to worry about. It's already happened. So when I talk about ledgers, those transactions, so every time you tap and go in that, it's already on that system. So you don't have to worry about understanding the system. Just know that you're already on that ledger system. When it comes to, if you were coming to wanting to invest in CA, you just have to mute yourself, Dom. So just make sure that you understand. We could do a one-on-one session if you wanted to, darling, but it's just understanding that to get, say, an XRP token, you would just ask Google, how and where do I go to purchase the XRP token? And it will give you instructions and lists and that as well. When it comes to wealth managers, as I said, you will receive instructions once you have your currency revaluations. They have like a suggestion list, and they will give you guidelines as to how to manage your money. And that's what they are there for you to do. You also need to do, like I said, go through all those links that I send and start with the first one, which is holistic approach. So if you were to go to a holistic accountant, for instance, and study and research what they can do for you, and if you think that is what you need, then you find yourself a holistic accountant to talk to. The first session's generally free with holistic approaches. So you actually do that first and then go from there. But it's just a process. It's like when you go to sell a house for the first time, you don't know what the steps are, but they guide you. So the agent or the realtor will guide you through that. It's no different to all of this. So once the actual exchange has happened, they have people who will then guide you, and then you go off and then you can come back and ask them for assistance that way. So, but there's always help. As I said, I have been putting a lot of links up just recently. And as I said, I'm not going anywhere. So you can come back and certainly go through it step by step. So we'll be here for quite some time as this progresses. So
you mentioned your link. Where do I find those links, Mel?
In the Mayhem Mel channel, in the Mayhem Mel news channel. Okay.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
All right, darling.
Thank you so
we'll
much.
catch you.
I miss you. Take care.
You too, honey. We'll talk again very soon. All right, darling.
Good question there. All for Truth, you're up next.
Hey, Mel, All for Truth, how are you?
Okay, you guys, we're at the hour mark. We'll have an hour left, we'll say, for tonight. Pause. So I won't get tired out, so we can have 2 full shows tonight, or second show later at 3. So have a good lunch, few hour break, and we'll catch you all here at 3 o'clock. So, I think Kay and Tim was only on in this time. And good to see the new people. Thanks for coming in. Make sure you subscribe to the backup channels in the description box. Thank you. And so stay safe, stay strong, keep the faith. Never give up. And signing off for show number 1. Chico Dude. We'll see you all in a little bit.